Live and here we go. It is another edition of Skip Happens, everybody. Hello there. I cannot wait to dive into this one tonight. As you know, we always have a lot of the independent artists on, and I bring them on tonight. As a matter of fact, Deb is back with us. She's been really busy and doing her own thing, but that's Deb Lamphere, the president and founder of the official country music fan club, and Oddco, which is stationed in Nashville, Tennessee. And our talent,
Tiffany,
Tiffany Woys, everybody. How are you? Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
It is so good to see you. You know, it's more funny because I feel like last time I talked to you, I think I had like a Christmas tree in the background of my old house. It feels like it wasn't that long ago since we talked, but I guess it really was.
It was what, 10, 15 years?
No,
No, I don't know.
You look great.
we haven't aged a bit. We haven't aged a bit.
No, not at all. Not at all. I've got a few more grandkids, but no, I haven't really aged. But yeah, hang on one second. I just want to see if I want to make sure everything's cool here. I'm sorry. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It looks like we're good. It just my screen was doing some kind of weird thing here. So, all right, here we go. You know, you do a podcast every once in a while. Skip happens.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Tiffany Woys, how you been? What's going on with you? It's been a bit. You got new music out. I know that.
Yeah, I've been really good actually. I mean, a lot has changed in my life, a lot in a short period of time. So, which, you know, has its ups and downs, but I really think overall I'm really happy. I'm really good. I'm so excited about this new music because it's so different from anything I've ever done. From the fact that I'm co-writing it all to the fact that it's definitely even a different sound than I've had ever before, which I'm really excited about. I think it shows a lot of growth. I think it shows that my life's in a different direction. And I think hopefully it's all for the good.
I love it. You know, I'm going to say something here. You are glowing.
Yeah.
I can tell that you are very happy. You're glowing. Am I correct, Deb? She is glowing. And
fantastic smile. It just goes from ear to ear.
So I can't. The music that's coming out, of course. What just came out? Is it? I made note of. I'm Your Woman.
I'm Your Woman.
That's the latest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is that the one that's being pushed to radio right now?
Yes, that was the first single of 3 that are going to be pushed out in leading up into the whole project.
Got it. Because I also
definitely start with something more lively and upbeat. I mean, obviously more radio friendly, but at the same time, putting you in a place where I'm at right now, I always try whatever I'm sharing to the public or my audience. I want to make sure that they're feeling me and how I'm feeling at the moment. And I do my best to do that. And I'm a very energetic person. I'm not really a sad person, even if I am sad. And so it's just makes sense that I've been away for a while and coming back, you kind of get me again.
This is the real Tiffany Woys.
Yeah. And this song was really cool to write. I mean, it was one of the first ones I actually co-wrote. So when I decided I was going to start writing, this was one of the first ones that came of it, which was really cool. And it just started with the idea of a picture of my dad and I when I was really little on the couch, and he's reading me a Disney fairy tale book. I believe it was Snow White. And we're a big Disney family. But for me, it was all about that you can still believe in fairy tales, you know, and fairy tales look different for everybody. And that's kind of what the point of this song is, that your version of what is amazing or what's great in a relationship, that's different for everybody. And everybody can expect different things, but I can tell you what I bring to the table. And hey, if that's not good enough, then I'm not your woman, or I'm your woman if that's what you're looking for.
Exactly. So, and just you co-wrote this, or you wrote it on your own?
I co-wrote it. So I like to say, I think all the times that we've talked before, Skip, is I've always been the person that was an advocate for being a vehicle for really good songs. Had nothing to do with me being the writer, because I still think there is a huge need for that as well. Songwriters need to be able to do their job and not having to feel pressured to have to go into a room and write for a specific artist. They should be able to write good music, and artists will be a vehicle for those songs. However, and I've always been all for that, and I still am all for that. However, I've reached a point in my life where there were things I couldn't. No one was going to be able to write for me. I was going to have to do it myself. But to answer your question about I consider myself a co-writer, not a writer.
I get you.
So, because I'm still on that journey of figuring that out about myself. I love what I'm doing right now. I have no intention of stopping. But if you threw me into a room by myself, I wouldn't be able to come out with, I think, a fantastic song. I could make it work, but I'm not saying it's great. And there's a reason why we have a community of songwriters here, and it's to help artists like myself find our voice and find that idea of writing and really figuring that part of our artistry out. And without songwriters, we don't have a community. We don't have country music because it really is all about
100%.
I think if more artists were honest, they would say, I'm a co-writer, not a songwriter. Like, I'm no Jeffrey Steele. I can't go into a room. And if listeners don't know who Jeffrey Steele is, he wrote basically 80% of Rascal Flatts catalog. He wrote What Hurts the Most. He wrote My Wish. I mean, insane talent where that man doesn't need anybody to help him with an idea. He just can do it all. And
he does it all. Yep.
I can't do that. First of all, I'm really good with words. That's what I've realized is I'm a great idea person. I'm really good with the lyric aspect of it. Melody, I'm just not there. I can't. I need someone there to kind of facilitate that for me.
But you know your strengths and weaknesses. Sorry.
Right. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So this way you could focus on what your strength is, and then you let the other folks with their strength, and that's how that teamwork produces such a great product.
This industry is the best thing I can always come up with as an analogy is building a house. The person who lays the foundation isn't the person who puts in the plumbing. And maybe you'll find that one weird person that can literally build a house from start to finish. But at the end of the day, it usually takes a team. And that's really how I feel about the music industry and this community, is that it's a community and it takes a team. And if you don't acknowledge that, and if you don't accept that you're really not going to get the best product.
How often do you get together with others? Do you do this every day? First of all, are you in Nashville?
I'm in Nashville. Yeah. So I've been here for now almost 7 years and love it. Never left. This is home.
Is that, I was going to say, is that the same place we talked a while ago? All right. I don't see the Christmas tree.
However, I'm really sick of sometimes this weather going back and forth. I saw a meme today that said, if it gets cold one more time, I'm just going to put my Christmas tree back up.
There you go.
And that's kind of how I feel. But no, it's a different house. So I know when we spoke last, I was engaged. And I'm sure we'll get maybe into a little bit of that. But I'm not engaged anymore. And we had got a house together, and this is it. And I'm still in the house that we got.
All right.
And it was not. So
I totally made it my own, and we weren't in it together for very long. So it really just kind of feels like mine. It doesn't feel like if it really did feel like it was ours, then I would have probably just sold it and kept moving on. But it really does just feel like mine, and I've been able to create so many memories in it. So I'm good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So do you think that being no longer engaged and the life experiences and all the emotions that go along with that has made you, number one, a better person, or even a better songwriter, co-writer?
Both. So it definitely is actually what was the springing, jump start for me to want to even dive into the idea of songwriting. Like I said, I was very unapologetic of the fact that I wasn't one. I didn't feel ashamed of it. I felt like there was a reason for me coming to town and being a vehicle for songs versus being a songwriter or a co-writer. And it was going through this huge life experience that made me realize that there was no song that was going to be pitched to me that was going to tell my story. And it kind of forced me into the co-writer seat. And I'm very, very, very thankful for that, because it gave me a place to channel what I was going through. And actually, probably I could credit it to healing quite fast.
Right.
Able to talk about this with people and write my story. So that was really, really helpful, because there really wasn't songs. I mean, I think we all know about Divorce Country. We know all about the albums that come out about Divorce Country. And you hear those over and over again. But really, when I was going through something, I was like, I wanted to turn to music like everybody else does, even though I'm an artist and I do this for a living. I wanted to turn to music too, to make me feel less alone. And I couldn't, because there was nothing out there that was about broken engagements. You hear about divorces all the time. But
Right, right.
don't hear about this that often because one, I'm not so sure how often it happens the way it happened to me, but also it's just not really out there. Like people don't sing about it, people don't write about it, or if it gets written about, people don't record it. So I was like, okay, this is an angle for me because if I'm going through it, I can't be the only one. This isn't unique to me. I mean, tons of people don't get to the altar. I mean, that does happen. People don't talk about it, but it happens a lot. So I was like, maybe it's about time that I start putting my mark in the songwriter world on sharing my experiences, finally.
Oh my God, I'm loving this already. So how close, if I may ask, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but how close were you to actually getting married?
So it's a little unique story. We had 2 wedding dates because the first one was blown out by Hurricane Ian.
Right. Okay.
And what makes that even more funny, and I don't even care because I think I'm such an open book. I think my team is always like, "Shut up." My boyfriend before when I was engaged, his name is Ian, and I go,
no!
Big joke. Like when that wedding got called off, like it was like a joke, like haha, like your ex-boyfriend took your wedding out, like it was like. I try to make light of everything, and I was just like, oh man, how funny is that? You know, I don't think he found it very funny, but it was funny to me. So that got called. So the first wedding day called off because of the hurricane. We got really, really lucky because all the vendors and everybody came together because they really liked us, and they were like, here's the new date. It's going to be 6 months from now. We're all going to show up basically with no charge. Everyone's going to come together again, and we're going to like just be here again on that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, that's a miracle. And if anyone has never planned a wedding or knows anything about weddings, that doesn't happen very often.
No, I know that. I've played at a lot of weddings, so I know.
I was like, oh my gosh, how amazing is this? And that made me feel like this was meant to be. Like maybe there was a reason for that. Hindsight is 2020. I look back at it now, and maybe the reason is God was literally trying to do anything to make sure that I didn't walk down that aisle. But it was 6 weeks before the second date that he decided to call things off.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. So we didn't get the opportunity to get anything back.
I was going to say at the point of 6 weeks, things are paid for.
In full.
I think in full, probably, or pretty close to it. And to get your money back would be really difficult. And probably wouldn't. It depends, I guess. Would it even be?
I have a smile on my face, and I don't mean to because it's really not funny. And who I felt bad for, really, in the end of it was my parents. I'm very blessed that my family was paying for the wedding. I'm very blessed because I know a lot of people, and I have very many friends who they paid for their wedding themselves.
Oh yeah.
I was really, really lucky that my family was gifting us this beautiful day. So really, at the end of the day, who I felt bad for was my family because, yes, I was there with a broken heart, but they were dealing with like the side of the monetary side of things that I couldn't. And there's no amount of apologies I can give to them, right? That is going to make that come back. I can't. Luckily, my family is also so loving to me that they realized that like there was nothing I could do about this either, and they weren't going to push me or make me feel bad for something that I had no control over.
Right.
But yeah, it was a time, I can tell you that. And I think the best part of it all is I don't know. I mean, I don't go around talking about this very often, but I'm kind of at a point where, whatever. The facts are the facts. He did it over a text message.
What? What?
Yeah. So
that breaking up is one thing, but that is unacceptable.
I just hear you correctly that he said, you know what?
Yeah.
There's a song in that, right?
Yes, there is.
We had our things to it, but my thing is that if this is someone you've been with for so long, you say it to them face to face.
You know, you say it's not really a divorce, but you know, it is a divorce.
For us, that certainly did feel.
You had the house, you've had a lot of things together.
Right.
A lot of mutual property.
Yeah. And I think that's where it really did feel like that. And now it's kind of come to the point where it sucks. After 5 years, you commingle your friends, you commingle your whole life, right? So then the divorce of it all, right, feels awkward because you try not to put limitations on people in our lives, like pick a side. Like, I don't want to do that.
Oh, no,
That's
right.
not for me. But at the same time, I think naturally it takes its turn anyway, right? Without you even having to say anything, I think it naturally, it takes its course of who lands with who, I guess. So that's interesting for sure. I mean, it's been, but I will say some really great stuff has come from it all. The music is one thing. I am in a happy relationship right now. I did meet somebody really, really wonderful who basically made up for all of the things I was lacking in my last relationship, plus more. And I feel really, really valued and really just cared for and loved. And that's something that I realized I wasn't exactly getting. And so this has turned out to be quite a blessing. And of all things, I was supposed to be getting married in Charleston. The man I'm with now lives in Charleston.
Oh, so, my.
So crazy.
Wow. There's a lot of different pieces to this.
There is. So how did you two meet? And then I have a question on the songwriting.
So I use the dating apps. That's the type of girl I am. That's how I met the ex as well. And I'm just not a bar girl. I don't go out, and I have a very good job, right? Where it's not like I go into an office from 9 to 5 and I, bump shoulders with somebody. It's pretty weird. So I got on the apps pretty quickly because not to meet anybody, but just to like feel normal, I guess. Again, I felt like I have so many things in my life that I want to accomplish, not just music wise, but having a family and all those things that really do matter to me that you will start to see in my music now that I start confessing some of these things a bit more and feel a bit more convicted to sing about. But I just I'm not going to find this person sitting on my couch, like eating Baskin Robbins. Like you're
not going to find them in a bar either. So just as well, I know you said you don't go to bars and hang out and all that, but you know what? This is a different way of doing it. And it's probably, I don't know if this makes sense, pretty safe. You can kind of explore. You get a lot of those people that say there's somebody who they really are not, who they're not. Does that make sense?
For sure. And for me, what I learned this time, because I had some help from friends and family on because I hadn't dated in a while, and dating has changed a lot in the last 5 years. And I was everyone was before you go on a date with somebody from one of these things, FaceTime them first. And I said, that's a great idea. I never thought to do that. I would think that I'm just going to go meet up at a restaurant and go grab dinner with them or whatever. But I did that, and I did FaceTime. I went on many dates. I dated leading up into meeting this guy. It wasn't the first guy I just yanked and said, let's go. But I went
a rebound. Never mind.
No, yeah. No, and I think it's fair for people to be this is why I did not announce it right away. For many reasons. Being in the position I'm in, everyone has an opinion, right? The internet is a wild place.
Crazy.
I just didn't need people to be well, that was fast kind of thing. Because I think it's really nobody's decision of a timeline of how fast, not fast you move on. Yeah. I already know what I wanted. I know what I deserved. I kept telling people I didn't need to go eat, pray, love my way into finding myself. I found myself. I'm not lost. I already knew who I was. Right. So it's now it's just finding that missing piece of who was going to kind of fit into the things that I was missing. And met this guy over one of the apps, and he got to talking to me, and I was I thought he lived in Nashville, because that's kind of, I felt how he presented himself a tad bit. And then to hear that he lived in Charleston, because I had every intention, guys, of never going back to Charleston, because I was too distraught. I was there's no way I'm going to be able to go back to this city and not think of him. And because I mean, to be frank with you, it was our city. What brought us, he was the first one to take me there. It was this whole thing. And I thought, how am I ever going to look at this city ever the same ever again? And I just is when I really, I don't know how, you guys feel or what you believe in, but I am, I'm a big believer in God, and I have a really strong faith. And I thought, this is such a God thing.
Yes.
You're not going to throw away an entire place you love and that brings you joy. And let me give you a new way so you can put on new glasses and view the city from a new perspective. And that's what I've been able to do. And it's been a really, really beautiful thing. And it's really cool because now that I'm writing, I'm starting to now to be able to not only write about my heartbreak and what I've been through and my healing journey, but I'm starting to write about my new love story. And that's really cool because I've always recorded songs that somebody else has written that I've attached my love story to, but I've never written them myself. And it's a really cool feeling.
So what does this new guy think about what you do?
About what happened to me? Is that what you mean?
No. You're an artist.
Career.
He's really, really supportive. So he himself is a dreamer. He's a creative.
Okay.
So he is like, there were really moments in time that I wasn't sure I was going to continue to pursue this, just because, I mean, again, as I am a dreamer, I am a realist. I am in my 30s. I have other things I want to do. It is hard to be a female in this business and to keep pushing on when you have other goals and things you want to accomplish. So there were many times where I've talked about, like, I don't know, I think maybe this might be my last stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I think as artists, if an artist is hearing me right now, they're like, amen, sister. I've been through this.
We've heard it. So
first of all, when I was getting married, I had every intention of kind of hanging this up slowly but surely because I was ready to enter in that new stage of my life. And music was the one thing that brought me back, like that healing portion, music brought me back. So that was like, okay, I can always rely on this because it's what I love. So I was like, I'm not giving this up yet. And the guy that I'm with now is so encouraging. Like every time I even talk about putting this down or aside, or if I have a moment of weakness, he's just like, why? This is so simple. I don't really get why. Like, why? I'll support you through this. If you want to do this, you know? And I thought, that's great, you know? And luckily I've had every relationship I've pretty much been in, and I haven't been in very many. I'm very much a long-term dater. I've had very supportive men in my life. I'll even give the ex that. Very supportive of this career path. I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky with the men that have been in my life to have been very supportive. And I'll never take that away from even people who have broken my heart.
So after the breakup and before the new person came into your life, how was your songwriting? Like, when did you feel you were ready to dive back into your work? Because obviously you had new territory to explore and write about, but it's also very heartbreaking as you're starting. So
pretty fast.
You did.
I think it was a distraction. It started off like that for me. And I got in rooms with people that I really, really trust and are like family to me. They're friends. They're people that I've already been working with. So it wasn't like I was thrown into rooms with strangers and then we were like, write about your life. It wasn't like that. It was people that I already feel really good around, even though you could probably put me in a room with a stranger and I'd be fine with it.
You do seem like that kind of person.
Very, but also with what I was writing about, not that I'm ashamed to talk about it or I don't even matter about being in a room with a stranger and writing a song about it. That's fine. It was more like they could read my mind for me because they know me that well. So it made the songs come out faster. It made them flow better because I think, like, for instance, Tammy Kid Hutton, somebody that I work with regularly and helps even co-produce my work, she can actually, if I can't find the words, she can actually talk for me in times. So that helps a lot when you're new to this. And another co-writer, Cam Newton, who I've been working with, who helped me write the next single that's coming out, mainly more about the breakup and things like that. He's been through a broken engagement as well. So it was kind of nice to have somebody in the room that has also like been there. And a lot of things I was saying, he was like, yeah. And
from a male perspective. So
which was really also nice because I think the more we talk, and this is great about just being human beings, and I think we're getting away from this because of social media and stuff, but we need to be in rooms, not even just with songwriters, talking more because you realize how not alone you actually are. And that so many, I mean, we're humans, we all have very shared human experiences. And the more, if we're able to just talk, the more you realize how much more. This is why I get so mad about the state of our world. It's like, how are we that different? We all go through very similar things.
Yes.
If we just were to just talk with each other, you would realize that we're really not that different. And I'm meaning even from country to country. I mean, you see what goes on, just the varying differences between countries. And you're like, at the end of the day, we do go through a lot of similar things if we just were to talk.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just, it's all right there. And why? Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of the right word here, but.
And that's what's good about music. And that's why I've always loved music is music. There's two usual, like, universal languages to me, love and music. Because I think music really is a universal language. I think that it really does translate from, and the best example I can come up with, whether you're a fan of her or not, watching Taylor Swift go from country to country. And this girl does not sing songs in other languages. She sings it in English. And somehow she fills an entire stadium in Singapore. Yep. And they are, whether they have translated versions or not, does not matter. What she's singing about is relating to people who she can't even pick up a phone and call.
Bam. You got it. Exactly. 100%. And, haters are going to hate, but I got to tell you, I look at her as like, everybody needs to watch what she's doing and how she is doing it.
Yeah. Really, she should run an entire masterclass, or someone should, if they don't already, run one about her on what she's done. Again, whether you like her or not, her ideologies, what it does not really matter. Strip that all back and let's just talk about the music.
Yeah.
He does something that's really magical, and it connects with more people than it's ever connected with someone before. Arguably, she is the most famous person in the world. And there is a reason for that, whether she likes that being labeled that or not. It's just like, it is what it is.
It is.
Yeah, I think she goes, I'm Taylor, it's who I am, and I don't care.
It's not the clothes she wears, it's not who she dates, it's not her political ideology. It's what she's singing about, and it's what she's writing about, and that's what's connecting.
I wonder when Travis is going to propose.
I've dug so into those rabbit holes. It's not even.
I know. It's the Swiftie coming out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But no, that was fun stuff. So, we're talking about your music. We're talking about you being a co-writer. We're talking about the music that's coming out, being presented to radio. But now you are doing your own podcast. What's Mine is Yours.
Yes.
That is cool. Now, how long have you been doing that, and why did you start that?
It's been over a year now. Longer than that if you count the work leading into the release, right? I think I had backlog.
You have these yet? Do you? But no, I get it. What's Mine is Yours is what it needs to say.
I'll get on those. But I think I backlogged so many episodes prior to the release just so we could stay on a schedule. I think you would understand.
Sure.
Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Especially since, like you, I have guests, and it is hard sometimes to wrangle guests, and then I know you do things. Mine is a bit more, I don't want to say edited, but we do edit it. For the listener, in the sense that sometimes and I think in what I do, my audience wouldn't be interested in super long format. I think they kind of want it.
Right.
We're trying to readjust now, as I think my format was almost a little too long. And because I thought there was so much information in there with these songwriters that are talking to me, I didn't want to cut any of it out. But what I've realized now is we're working with new people, and we're kind of rebranding. We're kind of taking a time out so we can come back really like full blown, because now we know we have a really good product, and now we want to do it right. Okay. I think we tried it and we're like, hey, this is good. This works. But now let's clean it up and let's make it really friendly to an audience to listen to. I
don't edit.
Yeah.
It's called Skip Happens for a reason.
Yeah. And trust me, I don't want to edit in the sense where it.
No, I know.
The content. It's more just like cutting out the filler stuff that maybe we need to hear. But now that we're working with new people and we're getting this all ready to go for it to be re-released, I'm very excited because, again, I've said from day one that this was about the songwriter. That's what the show is about. It's about interviewing songwriters. And it started off with like stories behind the songs, and it really has shifted because I have realized what I'm passionate about and what information I want. And it's not just about the stories behind the songs, because you can hear that all the time. You can go down and you can YouTube that, you can figure it out. It's the stuff you can't find out. And it's also giving them finally the mic, because they're never given the mic, to really share their opinions on what's going on in the music industry, what they think is corrupt, bad, weird, good. I don't care. It's for them to give it up. And if they feel comfortable talking, here's a safe place for you to do it. And I want them to be able to feel that way. And I also give them the option, if they say something and they didn't like it, please let me know, because first and foremost, I'm here for you. I'm not here for the gotcha moment. I'm not. And if we get, so I'll edit it out if you feel that way. I always give them that opportunity. But what I found is that they are like, no, like, we don't get the opportunity to share our feelings, and we want our feelings out there. So and a lot of times I don't agree with them. I mean, there's plenty of things that I don't agree with. And this is why I take the opportunity in the podcast too, at the end of it or in between it, we're going to change it up a bit, where I give my opinions on what they said. I give my commentary. So every guest does know that I will be saying things once they've left. So I have no problem confronting someone when I'm with them. That isn't really an issue. I'm good with that. But sometimes you have to read the room, right? Like, I don't want someone to get up and storm out.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
I want to be respectful, and I will always give my delivery with respect, even if it's to their face. I'm not going to be disrespectful. But at the same time, what I'm choosing to do in the aftermath of once they left is kind of digest what just happened, what I heard, what I said. I keep kind of notes going on of how the interview was going, about their answers and things that are going on. And I have the right to either disagree or agree and give my opinions on that afterwards. So that's kind of where I'm allowed to a little bit show myself in the podcast. Because first and foremost, like I said, it's about the guest. It's not about me.
And that's how we look at it.
And Tiffany Woys, the artist, is different. I'm here for that. That's why I'm there. I'm not there to promote my music. I'm not there to promote me. But I do believe, as a podcast host, a lot of listeners do tune in for the host as well. They want to get to know the host and their opinions. So I'm trying to find the correct balance of where I'm able to show my personality and show myself without overstepping on the guest.
So, go ahead.
No, go.
Okay. I was just wondering if the guest talks about something in the industry that might be sensitive information as far as the listeners go, maybe how someone is treated, or how a certain position in the industry is treated, or how they act towards a songwriter, whatever. If it's something that is not a positive experience in their world, how do you handle that? Because maybe their position wasn't positive, but somebody else's was. But these things do happen in the industry.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I kind of love it when they speak freely, because I don't think we get it enough. And I think I think a lot of people bite their tongue too often. And I think that we need to be less scared. And my goal in this show is kind of figuring out, where is the fear stemming from? Like, where is it starting, and why is it trickling down on you guys? So who's the one with the big, hammering down saying you can't say this? Because I'm trying to figure out that's kind of what we're living in a world today, where we live in fear.
Fear, yes.
When we pull that off of us, it's so freeing, and so, like, you feel so much lighter. So I'm just trying to figure out in the music industry, because I don't have the answer to this. I think there's a lot of assumptions I have that have come to fruition and have been true. Because I like to connect the dots. I'm a little detective. I love true crime. So this has kind of helped me in this area. But in the end of the day, I don't know where the fear starts and why people don't feel like they can just share, whether it's about an artist they've met. And what I've come to the end of the day is, I'm going to just say it, because again, this is my job. I follow the money. I follow the dollar sign, and that's where fear happens. So
it does. If
someone talks about, this is why a lot of people don't, as an artist, a lot of artists get in there and they've had so much media training. They're like, I can't say that. Or they have this one answer that, like, takes you weird land through Wonderland, and then they come back and I go, you didn't answer my question at all, but that's okay. I get it. I've been through media training. I know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, they don't want to say something about somebody because they're scared that it's going to hurt their chances somewhere else in life for something else. For me, and why everyone is asking me, I get asked all the time, aren't you scared? You're an artist. Why aren't you scared? And I said, I haven't really made it. I got to be honest. I haven't made it in this town. I'm still doing what I love, and I've had some success here and there that I'm very grateful for. But I am also the type of person that's like, I've got nothing to lose. And I think that's when you get yourself in a great position of where you can really be honest and really give something to the audience is worth for them to hear, is when someone isn't scared to lose something and they just say it how it is.
You are unbelievable.
Yeah, I like it.
Everything you just said is so very true. And you have a guest, and it's okay to be confrontational. It's okay to have an opposite opinion. You know, his opinion or her opinion may not necessarily be your belief. I mean, that's all good. And the more you can have that on a podcast, we're getting away from the music here, but the more you can have that on a podcast, you know what? People are going to listen. And they're going to say, oh my God, I can't believe he said this. But then she came back and said this. And it's amazing. And it's like that with radio. If you have a good morning show, it's good to be the opposite of whoever's sitting across from you, because now you're causing it. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
It gets like, no, it's this way. No, it's this way. Well, and all the people, people love that. People love it.
And I'm sorry, I think we can probably agree, because it seems like we agree on a lot of things about this, but like the moment we all stop as humans, we stop disagreeing with each other and we only agree, we're in trouble, I think, and we're getting to a place now where we're making, and in the music industry, by the way, we're making it where it's like, you can only think like this. This is the answer you have to have. And we all have to feel the exact same way about everything. And that's just not true. And I'm sorry, you can lie to people as many as you want. You can kick people out for having an opposing opinion. You can do it, but you'll never actually get what you want, because that's never going to be the truth. The truth is people disagree. It's just about being able to have dialogue about it. It's okay to disagree. That's good. That's good to disagree about things.
And good things come out of that.
Absolutely. And I think this is why even for music.
Oh my gosh.
Music, for instance, I'll say I like Miranda Lambert's music. My mom doesn't. We disagree on that. That didn't change Miranda Lambert's career, because my mom doesn't like Miranda Lambert.
Exactly.
It doesn't change it if I like it. This is why music is even subjective. Everything in this world will always be pretty much subjective. I think you have a few things in life that are pretty concrete that I think all as a human race can agree on.
We're always going to have that.
Yeah. But overall, this is why this is where we live in America, is to disagree and to have dialogue about it. And I'm very worried that we're getting to a place even in the music industry where we're not even allowed to have differing opinions about even music. I mean,
I was going to start talking about that, but that's funny that you just mentioned that. But I think it is kind of more or less going in that direction.
Very much. And if more people don't step up to say something about it, then we all are. Silence is compliance to me. So I might just be one person, and maybe nobody else follows me in this direction and saying something, and maybe nothing happens. But at least I know I wasn't, we all say this in different subjects, right? Like being silent about it. But the music industry, though, I think a lot of people need to start speaking their mind and stop being scared about not getting a record label to sign them, or you're going to get blacklisted here. At the end of the day, look at the people who have stepped out of the box to say something. Their careers have done really well because of it.
It more than likely will help them.
More than likely. I think there's always a case it won't, but I'm telling you, I'm watching this and I'm seeing more people who
stand up for yourself, say what you want, say what you feel, and go with it.
Go with it. And again, you're never going to get everybody to like you. That's never going to be the case.
We don't like you.
But you're just not. I mean, I think it's scary when you have a mental mindset where you just want to be the person for everybody, because if you're for everything, you stand for nothing. I don't know. You just can't be everybody's friend. Not everybody's going to have the same taste as you. Not everyone's going to like my hair color or the sweater I'm wearing. And I don't care,
I love it.
And that goes for what I'm saying right now, even about bigger issues. Clearly, hair and sweaters are small potatoes. But
Right.
I've seen it about the big things too. I think a lot in the music industry needs to change. I've been told time and time again, well, this is just the way it's going, so just get over it. So you either join them or leave. And I go, I don't think that has to be the case.
No, but you're paving your own way, and there's going to be a point where that is going to be recognized, and that could be the new way, because there'll be other people that see what you stand for and realize, hey, that's okay. Somebody
Yeah.
out there is actually doing that, so it's okay. And
that's why
there'll be,
I
yeah,
started this honesty with the idea of songwriting, because everyone told me like, shh, 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 don't say you're not a songwriter. And I'm like, but I'm not. And I said, why am I gonna lie? And I said,
right.
that feels weird to create a platform in which I can't like begin to represent, because it's very not real. Like that doesn't make sense to me. I can't sell that. And then and then for a while I was very defiant on becoming a songwriter, because I was told I have to be one. And then I go, well, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like when I feel called to do it,
Right.
and I'll do it. But if I never feel that I'm called to do that, then I'm not going to do it. It's simply not going to be me. My brand is going to be fully 100% me, whether people like it or not. And if audiences are kind of manipulated into thinking only real artists write their music, then that's how they feel. And hopefully the pendulum eventually swings back. But regardless, I'm going to just be who I am, and my tribe will like me, and the others won't, and that's that.
And you don't care.
No, I just think I'm 33. I just don't have time to care. Too much other stuff has happened in my life where it's like, I don't know.
I agree.
Oh my God. But, what's mine is yours. How'd you come up with that title?
So it was really weird. I couldn't come up with a title. I was freaking out about it because my team was on me. Like, what are we naming it? What are we naming it? I was like, I don't know. I went to bed one night very stressed out about it, and I actually dreamed about it. So this was another like God-given gift that I think that in my head.
Absolutely.
So where it stems from is the idea of a song starts with the songwriter, right? They write it. It's about something personal to them. But the goal of that song is to, one, get it cut, get it released. So then it's given to an artist who then feels like it's theirs, right? They saw themselves in it. But really the ultimate goal is it for it to go out to the masses, and the masses feel like it's theirs, right? I just told my story. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I need to have that song played at my wedding because that's my love song between me and my fiance, or that's the song I need to have played at my father's funeral because I couldn't have imagined anything else. So what starts off with ours, which is our little prizes, our little babies, the goal is to make it yours.
I love that. As opposed to me trying to figure out a name, and then we came up with Skip Happens, and I put it on Facebook, and somebody said, hey, you're Skip Clark, just make it Skip Happens, and I gave him a $25 Dunkin' gift card, and we were good to go. And
you got a lot of mileage out of that gift card.
I got a lot of mileage out of this, and it's so true though when you think about it. Let's look at your life. I mean, everything that's happened in your life, you can go, you know what has happened, So Skip Happens.
I really like what starts off as mine. I want it to be yours, and I don't even need to say it needs to be ours. It's just the point is if you want to be in this career in the mainstream way, not just as like a personal kind of hobby that you release music for yourself. If you want to do this in a commercial mainstream way, you need to realize it's not yours anymore. It's theirs. It's everyone else's.
Right. Drew Baldridge.
Yeah.
And he's such a cool guy, and we keep in contact. He does it with a lot of radio people.
I just saw him at the Opry the other night, actually.
Exactly. And he, he said to hell with everything else. He, went out on his own, wrote obviously he wrote the song. He performs the song. Everything he's doing is coming out of his own pocket. Everything. When he got dumped from the label way back in the day, he thought he was done. It was over. And he's such a great talent. So he said, you know what? I'm going to do this on my own. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then so be it. I'll just do it.
And he works very hard.
And again, that's something that's not said enough, like openly. And I talk about it on the podcast as well with people, because they get it. The songwriters get it. They watch it. At one point, they might have tried being an artist too. Most of them have at one point or another.
Yes.
the idea of that it really takes so much investing in yourself, not just emotionally and physically, but monetarily.
Yes.
Mhm.
People, and again, money is such a taboo topic. We're not supposed to talk about money. Guess what? Money makes the world go round. You got
Yes, it does.
What it's all about.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't pay. I'm not going to show you my address. I can't pay my bills without money, right? Okay, so
Right.
I can't keep my lights on without money. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world works, whether you feel uncomfortable talking about it or not.
Mhm.
So the idea of being an independent artist and knowing any other artist that I know that's up and coming, or the ones that have made it already who are big, they had to invest in themselves. And why
Mhm.
people don't just openly say it and say that it's not cheap. A lot goes into this. Again, everyone's scared to talk about it because it's supposed to be this really like, and not saying that this isn't somebody's story, because I know it is.
I know.
Someone who like came in a trailer to town and worked, for tips. Fine. That I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I'm saying that what also exists a lot of the time is somebody who has to come and have money to support this dream. This
Mhm.
I'm very honest in the fact that it costs thousands of dollars just for one side,
Yep.
to go into a nice
Yes.
recording studio, to hire the
Yep.
musicians. It usually comes anywhere between $2,000 to $7,000, somewhere in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just is what it is, and people are just so scared to talk about it. And I'm not, and that's what I even bring to the podcast is that
I love it.
if you are a future artist and you want to do this, it's best you know this. Educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't just move here on this whim of a dream. I get it's good, we should like have a dream, be passionate about that dream, but know going into it what you need to play in the major leagues.
Mhm.
This is what this is. My manager had always told me, you're in the minor leagues now. You have to be ready for the major leagues.
Started.
Step up to bat here, know what you're getting into.
Right.
Exactly.
Because people come in unprepared and then all of a sudden they're completely blindsided. Oh my God, I thought that
And
was
then
going to be $500 and they're heartbroken.
And then they
Exactly.
go home and then they feel
Yeah.
like they can't ever pursue a dream ever again.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe if they were just a bit more prepared, they wouldn't have been so torn to pieces, right? To
Exactly.
shreds.
But nobody's going to tell them the truth.
No one says the truth. No artists even get up on their platforms and say, hey, I didn't start from the bottom. Now I'm here. I came and I already knew what I was getting into. And this is what I did to be seen. This is what,
Yep.
if more people just had honest, I kind of feel like, this is just my opinion. I think people don't talk about it because I think they're scared it's going to take away from their artistry and like hurt their brand. I think everybody would love that humble story of being like, I slept on the street for years before I got someone to just take a chance on me or
I've
whatever.
heard that.
Don't get me wrong, like,
Well, that's how like the Lainey Wilson story.
Yes.
She's very open about how she
Yeah.
had to live in a
and I
van
just
or
don't
whatever it
think
was.
it makes
Yeah.
her story. I'm a huge fan of Lainey, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not me disrespecting Lainey. I just don't think that
Right.
her story means it should be more important than the girl that came.
Right.
And it just, do you release good music? Are you a good artist? Are you a good songwriter? Do you tell good stories? Are you a good performer? That's what I want to know. And
Yeah.
you know what? Behind that too, are you a good person? Are you who you present yourself to be on your social media? Is that who you are? Do you put in the work that it takes to do this? That's all that matters to me. Do you have good music? Are you a good person? And do you put in the hard work? That's what matters to me. I don't need to know that you slept in a tray. Like, that's good if it's part of your story.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make you more of an artist.
Exactly.
That's
What's mine is yours. What's mine is yours.
Yeah.
If so I want to say this because we get a lot of new artists that watch this. I get a lot of local guys and girls that watch this, and they all want to do what you're doing, but they need to subscribe to your podcast. They need to listen to what you're saying, because I mean, the truth will come out. What do you want to do? You want to be an artist? This is what you're going to have to. Here's the truth.
And
It's gonna
songwriters
cost
are
you
really good about it too. I mean, songwriters want to talk about it, and I love that I'm giving them this freedom of speaking about their challenges,
Yeah.
all of that. And I've had which has really been special is because we really haven't promoted the podcast yet. We've been really waiting to really kind of put a marketing strategy behind it to get it heard. So what's been really cool is I've actually had some songwriters reach out to me, and ones that live across the country somewhere, and say, hey, I've listened to all of your episodes. This has been life-changing for me. Thank you. Because hearing all of this has really kind of changed the way I'm going to do this. Like, I'm still doing this. It hasn't deterred me from not doing it. Because that's the thing, is I don't ever want my message to be, don't try. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm just letting you know that it's a lot of work. That's all I'm saying. If you're ready for that, come on, let's go. Like, let's put your boots on and let's get in the mud. Like, let's go. But I just love that I'm maybe helping people prepare on how they're going to do it. And that's what matters to me, is that I'm making a difference in the idea of, not only are we sharing really cool stories along the way for people who have no interest in being in this whatsoever, but people that do love this and want this, maybe they'll take a different approach. Maybe they've been told something different and they're like, oh, or they've just only heard the really glamorized version of this, which there is nothing glamorous about this. And it's just so funny. And I'm like, even the ones that are on red carpets and stuff, ask them their day-to-day normally. It's not glamorous.
I know.
Nope,
I get it.
It's their job.
Not. It's just so not. And people ask me, like, people who want to be critical of me and what I do, and people who, you know, are from my hometown or whatever, they'll be like, what do you do all day? Like, do you, and I go, it varies. Sometimes I do nothing. Like, sometimes I'm upset and I have to binge an entire show, and poor me, right? Like, oh, poor me. But there are some days I don't have anything to do, so I do have to go out and create stuff for myself too. Like, I am not, it's just like, it is frustrating because I am a planner. I like to have a schedule, and sometimes I don't have one, you know? So I think this is what's been really nice about songwriting, though, is it's put more things on my calendar. It's put more things to do. I feel far more accomplished every day when I have a write and I get to say something. So I will say that even though I was so stubborn about not doing it for so long, I'm really glad that I have, because I think it's something that I really did find a passion for. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have continued to do it. It's just as simple as that. It's not for me. But I really have found a love for it. And now my new message out to artists is if you don't write music, just give it a shot. And if you don't like it, don't feel forced to do it. That doesn't make you a better artist. I'm just saying that it can make you a more well-rounded artist. And if you find that you love it, keep going, because I love that I do it now. I love it.
It's all about being a storyteller. Everybody can tell stories.
Everybody can tell stories. And what I started out doing before I was really giving a lot of input in the room was I'm a big idea person. I love coming up with ideas. So for me, it was more like, okay, I might not be able to write the song in its entirety with you, but I can tell you what I want to sing about. I can give you a plot line. I can give you a title. I can say something to you that could spark an idea in you. And you could then spitball something back with me. And before you know it, we're so excited about what we're doing.
Wow. I'm excited about this. I mean, just listening, because it's just everything about the podcast, about the music, about what you're doing is just, it's blowing me away. And I love this.
I'm really passionate about it. And I've always said that if I wasn't going to do the artist thing anymore,
I figured you were just by listening.
I will always do, I'm not giving up the pod. I'm not giving up anything. Let me make that clear. I'm not giving up anything. However, I've really found a passion in the podcast world. I really found it ignited a strength in me I didn't know I even had. I'm used to being on this end of things where people are asking me questions, but wow, has this just brought a whole new tool in my tool belt of me, even as a person. I mean, it's not even just like an art in the sense of me being a good podcaster. It's made me a better person in relationships. I am a better listener.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I am more intentional with my conversations with people. I found myself caring less about myself in conversations, in my day-to-day life. And I mean, because I think we all have to be in this business, Skip, and you guys know that like, it takes a level of narcissism, okay? That we all have to
A
have.
little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Be like, I want my face plastered on something. I want to hear my voice. You have to have a little of it. And if you don't, if you say that's not true, you're lying to yourself.
Love
But it's made me care a little less about myself in conversations and really focusing on people in a way maybe I thought I was doing before, but I wasn't doing before. And I just so much love what it's done to my life. I really do.
So are you still performing are you performing in Nashville? What are you doing for that part of your career?
I get to do it so much more now because I'm a songwriter. So
Okay.
I think if you've ever been to Nashville, you know that the majority of shows are writers' rounds. I couldn't participate in them, not ethically, not like morally, where I felt good about it because I'm like, I didn't write these. But now I can actually go do this regularly because I am writing my music. So it has opened up a whole other door for me in the performing realm. I came from a background of performing, but it was more full band, and I toured like the whole West Coast for like 5 years. And that was something that I loved because like being on stage was really, really important to me. And it was like a second home. And when I moved here, I like kind of had to say bye to that. And when I went on radio tour was like heaven for me. And I know a lot of artists hate radio tour, and I go, you did? I loved it. Because I just got to go back to doing what I love to do, which was perform. I got to do it all over again when I couldn't do it before. So now that I'm co-writing my songs, I get to go participate in these really cool writers' rounds and do what I love again and connect with people, which is the whole point of being in the music business, in my opinion, is to connect with people. And I have a writers' round coming up actually, where I'm performing with Emily Shackleton. And
Oh my gosh.
I mean, and this is like, these are people that I'm inspired by. These are songwriters that I love. And I go, how cool is this that I get to now be on like the same like docket with these people and say and perform. So it really, becoming a co-writer has really opened up so many doors for me, not only in my podcast world because of things I can talk about with these guests, but now it's really opening up the doors for me to be able to perform again. So much has come from this. And I gotta say, I would have never done this if I didn't get my heart broken.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, what are some of the venues that do you frequent certain venues, or are you?
We're kind of just now starting it.
Okay.
So, because the music was just released. So I haven't really been out there. It's just now starting now. Like we're booking up like my calendar now with stuff. And I know I'll probably start singing potentially at the listening room, which I know people really love. And that's like a huge goal, like a thing of mine where I'm like, that was my first show I ever attended when I was here in Nashville, was a show at the listening room. So to say that I could like potentially start singing there, that's really, really cool. I know it's small potatoes compared to like say the Grand Ole Opry or something, but listening room to me is a huge thing for me.
Yeah, that's a big attraction in Nashville.
And it's always busy, right? You have a room of new people every single night. And that's all an artist or a songwriter can ask for, is a captivated audience that's listening to you. And it's new people coming in all the time. That's all you can ask for, because at the end of the day, it's really hard to get your stuff out there and heard. And I think people say it's gotten easier because of social media. I think it's gotten harder, and I'll explain why. I think there's so much choice now. There's so many options. It's like being at a buffet and you only hit the first 3 things, and then you're full and you realize you didn't even know what was at the other end of the table. So that's how I feel about music and social media. Is like, yes, it's a beautiful thing that we can just release things, but I think people have so much option now that it's just overwhelming. You almost don't even get to it all.
Yeah, no, true.
So
True.
Well, you will post your performances, I'm assuming, on your website.
Yeah, so you'll find probably the first you'll probably find it is Instagram. I think.
Okay, I'll be sure to follow you. I can't remember if I'm following you. Well, because I'm in Nashville all the time.
Okay, yeah.
So I always try to hit up something with whoever we're interviewing. So I'll be sure.
I know my first one's coming up on April 10th. That's the first one we have on the the calendar right now. And it's just been a really, really cool new version of what I've already been doing. I don't like to say change, but definitely evolve. And I think if you're not constantly evolving and growing, then there's just really no point to keep going.
Right.
And I really think even with the new music and what you guys will eventually hear past I'm Your Woman, you'll see how much I actually have evolved. And that I'm really, really proud of. I think I've said that before in interviews with my other music. And it's not that I didn't mean it and I wasn't being like a liar, but I really think there is a huge shift and change in the way I've evolved and not change, evolve in how I'm sounding.
Yep. Everything evolves. So
yeah.
It just kind of keeps going. You're doing that. Tiffany Woys. Wow.
I know. Amazing.
Amazing. You're right. It's that one word, amazing. And I'm not lying. I mean, I'm being honest. This is it's just everything that all the knowledge that you have and your energy. I was going to ask if you had like some
coffee in here.
Caffeinated
coffee.
coffee. I know. Me too. Me too.
You know what though? Coffee doesn't do anything to me these days. I almost do it out of a habit for a taste.
Same.
Yeah, exactly. I drink. Yeah.
I mean, I have Red Bulls in my fridge, and those don't even do anything for me anymore. I think I'm just naturally
You're just naturally energetic. That's all.
Oh my God! But it's all in a good way, and you look beautiful. You're doing everything right. I love the podcast. I'll make sure I subscribe to that because I want to stay on top of that as well. And I'd love to come on sometime and just kind of hang. And just let me know as a radio guy. You know, if you got a songwriter on,
I know we're gonna branch. I've talked about it before. Is that eventually we'll run out of. Not that you'll ever run out of songwriters, but at the end of the day, you do start to run out of things. And there are other people that I totally want to talk to. Keeping it still, the goal of the show is always still going to be songwriter focused. I'm not going to change that. I think that's really important, but it doesn't mean we can't have other people on, like for instance, a radio programmer to talk about the songwriters and the importance of this. And then from there, we can talk about the music industry. I think that's a fair game. And I don't think, again, people just aren't doing it. And I get it. It's because people are scared. But I'm not. So, and I also do everything. Hi, Kat.
I was just going to say, what is crawling?
Yes.
Oh,
this is Belle. She doesn't like to be alone very often.
Hi, Belle.
I just think that I think everything can be said with respectful delivery. I think it's how you say something.
Exactly.
And I don't think anything should be off the table. I just think it's how you talk about it and allow people to feel safe in a place to speak about things that might be hard. And I think that's with every topic ever, love
it.
I just think it is. So I'm really excited to see what happens with the show because we're finally going to start marketing it and doing it kind of good. It's great.
I love the fact that you're doing it, number one. And, being a musician, being an artist, a co-writer, taking that side of it, incorporating it into the podcast and talking to other songwriters. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And thank you guys so much for always being a supporter of me. I feel like
100%.
Always had my back. You're always asking me to, to be part of this. And it really does mean a lot to me because it's not, we don't get platforms that often. And just like the same way I look at like how songwriters don't get a platform that often. And you guys have been like a very early on supporter of me. I've always supported my music. So thank you very much because it doesn't go unappreciated.
Now, if somebody wants to jump on and listen to some of your music, you have a website?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. But everything is obviously on, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, my Instagram. I have a TikTok. I don't love it, but I have a TikTok.
Now, you're one of the few that has said that.
It's not that I wanted to get banned. I'll start there. I don't agree with that. I think it's kind of weird that all of a sudden now they want to ban it. But I think everyone should have the freedom to use it if they want. I just kind of feel like I've passed that age marker where I got into it, I guess.
Okay.
And even though my dad loves it. But I just am not good with, shockingly enough, I know I'm a talkative person and I love doing things like this. I feel so goofy with my phone in my hand all day and like talking to my phone. I feel really weird. I don't like it. I'd rather talk to somebody.
Exactly.
I would do much better. And I just kind of think I feel bad for artists these days. I really do, in the sense that we don't just get to focus on what we do. Now we have to be like content creators. And it's just like, no offense, some of the stuff that's put out, I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but some of it's cringy. Okay.
Yeah.
Cringe watching this. And I feel bad because they don't want to do it. I know most artists. I talk to them. They don't want to do it either. They're like, yeah, it's weird. I know. I'm just kind of like lip singing my song in my car. And I go, yeah, why? Because you wouldn't see Carrie Underwood cut dead doing this, okay?
Exactly.
I have to agree with you. It looks stupid.
It's just kind of cringy. I don't know. Like, and I'm not saying, some people pull it off and they like make it look cool. And then I do it and I have it drafted in my phone and I go, no.
No, we're not posting that. All right.
No,
Tiffany Woys, you've been awesome. It's so good to catch up. It's so good to see you. A lot of great knowledge, about the podcast, about co-writing, about your music, just all right here on Skip Happens tonight. It's so good to see you.
It's really good to see you.
And I said this in the beginning about an hour ago, that you're glowing. You just look so happy, and I hope it's real. Because
it's very real. I can promise you, I'm a horrible actress. That's why I'm in this business and not the other one. I can't act for
I love it. I love it. But I want to say thank you for coming out with us tonight and talking about you and your music and the podcast and all the good stuff. So
thank you. And say hi to your son for me, please.
Oh, Zach. Yeah, I tried to get him to come down. He's all excited because tomorrow here locally is opening day for baseball.
Oh, hey, so I know a lot of opening day was today. Is it also tomorrow too in some places?
Well, the minor league, for example, here in the Q, Syracuse, we're the AAA affiliate of the New York Mets.
Okay.
So they open up at home tomorrow. So
okay.
All right. But yes, MLB started today.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of that today. I was like, oh, everyone was at opening day.
I came home and Zach was all excited. He goes, Dad. I go, what? He goes, Yankees beat the cheaters. He still thinks of the Astros as cheaters. So it's kind of funny. He goes, yeah, it was 5-4. Yankees beat the cheaters. So I said, oh, that's cool, bud. That's cool. But we're a big baseball family. So it's pretty cool. We're all excited. So anyways. And if you ever come to town, I'd love to take you to a game.
I'd love to go to one. I like sporting events. They're fun. And, baseball games have good hot dogs. So I like.
Oh, yeah. They got a lot of new food now at the ballparks.
Really?
I mean, it's even here locally, they've got tater tots and all sorts of wings now. And it's just, the tacos. It's just, it's so awesome. Baseball food is great.
Oh my gosh. She's really just.
Oh, she loves you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. I've had a really good time tonight. This has been fun.
Right back at you. We're gonna
hang tight while we sign off. Don't hang up yet.
Stay right there. Thank you for watching Skip Happens, everybody. You can subscribe. Just go to YouTube and search Skip Happens. It's there. Click on the little button. It's that easy. But big thank you to Tiffany Woys in Nashville and Deb for hanging out tonight. I know it's been a little bit. It's so good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.